The iPad mini 2 is coming up to about 5 years old now, and the only iPad mini that they've released since then, apart from the iPad mini 3, is the mini 4. And even that is pretty old, considering it hasn't been updated since September of 2015. So, should you still buy the iPad mini 2 at a low price of £150? Hey guys, my name's Ryan Thomas with Failtech, and today we're going to find out. So just to preface this, Apple seems to be focusing more on their iPad Pro line with quad speakers, way better system on the chips, really powerful screens with 120Hz displays, and a focus on those slightly larger tablets as tablets are starting to die out in sales. But at £150, the iPad mini 2 feels amazing in the hand. Of course, it's just like the other iPads, so it's metal all around with that really underrated, in my opinion, volume toggle switch on the left hand side, so you can put it on silent if you want, which I'd like to see in tablets and phones the same. The volume up and down buttons and the home button and power button all feel good. They're very solid. They haven't got shaky or anything like that since I last looked at it. And since I mentioned the home button, there isn't any Touch ID. You have to step up to the iPad mini 3 or mini 4 to get those kinds of functionalities. Unfortunately, you don't get it here. With a phone, I can understand because that's a personal device, but a lot of people share their iPads or they have a family iPad. So I'm not really too fussed on this, but other people might have similar or different ideas. The bezels aren't huge, but they're not tiny. It's not an Infinity Edge type tablet. And that means that you've kind of got a bit of a bezel on the side, but definitely more of a bezel top and bottom. I kind of like this though, because when you're watching a video or viewing something in landscape, it gives you a nice edge to hold on to, which is something that not a lot of skinnier bezel tablets or displays can really do for you. It's a 7.9 inch screen with a near 4:3 aspect ratio, which means it's slightly different to your standard phone aspect ratio, where we're going for the more stretched, larger aspect ratios compared to the more boxy or square ones like in this iPad. It's a very high resolution Retina image at 320 pixels per inch, meaning that this display is very sharp and it's going to be great for anything like content consumption. As well as that, you do get a really nice IPS panel, meaning that you get a lovely set of colours that's fairly accurately tuned out of the box. Apple are kind of known for this, but they're really well tuned out of the box. Very accurate, lots of good viewing angles, but you don't quite get those punchy colours like you would on something like an OLED. Even then, it's still a really nice panel when it comes to just the viewing experience overall, and I feel like these IPS displays in the iPads are just excellent. The cameras aren't too important, so I'll briefly cover them. You get a 5 megapixel camera on the back that can shoot 1080p video, and a 1.2 megapixel camera up front that can shoot 720p video. You're really going to be using these for more like video calls or Snapchat maybe, and even for that, they're not amazing. You might want to step up to something bigger if you're really relying on the video and photo quality, but considering a lot of people just use them for FaceTime now and then, I think they're perfectly reasonable to have on a tablet. And one bonus thing is you don't get any camera bumps on front nor back, so there aren't any protrusions, which is great. The Apple A7 dual-core chip at 1.3 GHz is not fast, and 1GB of RAM is just straight up not enough RAM to go into the future with. So unfortunately, I can't really recommend the tablet overall, although I'll get into that a little bit more in the future. 1GB of RAM is just, like I said, straight up not enough. And it can really be taxing on the iPad itself. It can really stutter when going in between applications, or even when in applications themselves. Even system apps can be difficult for this little thing. Yes, okay, there are some things that you can do that are just standard, like looking at your emails or social media, and yes, it's going to perform okay there, but there will still be hang-ups. Unfortunately, this isn't a brand new tablet anymore, and 1GB of RAM, even in something like a smartwatch, is standard. So in something like a tablet that has a high resolution display to power and some powerful software to run, it's really not that good. iOS 11.2 is a lot for this little thing to handle, so unfortunately I can't say, oh yeah, this will get loads of software updates going into the future, because okay, it might, but whether it kind of supports it is just not there. 11.2 is a bit hard for this thing to run, like I said, and so any software updates going into the future will likely cripple this thing even more than it already has done. The Mini 4 has 2GB of RAM, so you could upgrade to that, although 2GB of RAM in a tablet with a powerful processor and a pretty high resolution display still isn't enough for me. iPad should be having 4GB of RAM. I mean, they call them like computers, so you know, why not? iOS overall is a brilliant experience for an iPad. I think that's where it kind of shines. Very simple, good for families, young kids, anything like that. And it has stunning standby time, meaning that you can leave your tablet, your iPad mini 2, on a shelf, and a week later it might have dropped 2 to 5% tops. It's kind of magical. The over 6,000 mAh battery is an excellent size for something of this size itself, And no, you don't get wireless charging, you don't get fast charging, but really you've got an iPad mini 2. Were you really expecting that? But yeah, 6,500 milliamp hours is perfectly fine, coupled with some really powerful background iOS software. You get a lightning port, which is okay. I like the lightning connector. It's just not USB 3.0, which is kind of annoying. And you do get a headphone jack, so that's also good if you want to hook it up to a hi-fi or some speakers or headphones. You also get Bluetooth, so you can connect them to wireless headphones or wireless speaker systems, and the Wi-Fi is pretty good. You can get it in a Wi-Fi and 3G model. I don't have access and I've never touched a Wi-Fi 3G model. I've only used Wi-Fi only, and I can say that the Wi-Fi is not bad on it. So what are my final thoughts on the iPad mini 2? I feel like it's an alright tablet for those just looking for a tablet for their kids or for grandma, because £150 or less is good and you get a stunning display. Like, that's probably the main takeaway from this. The display is so much better than the original iPad mini, and I can't really recommend that original iPad mini anymore. The iPad mini 2 is something that I will not recommend to the majority of people, because the majority of people will expect too much from something this old. Go with something like a larger screen phone, like a Galaxy Note 3 or Galaxy Note 4, because those things are large screens and they've got much more processing horsepower and are easier to update to latest software to give you the most out of your phone. Whereas with the iPad mini 2, yes, it's on latest software, but with 1 gig of RAM and a pretty low-end dual-core processor, it's just not enough nowadays. So if you're looking to play a lot of games, if you're looking to consume a lot of media, and if you're looking to have a snappy overall experience, because of course it's an iPad, I can kind of say you're not going to get that here. My little brother and my mum mainly just use it for watching YouTube videos, so that's basically it. Anyway, sorry for this weird looking video. I've got my camera on a shelf at the moment because it's really difficult to find different angles for A-roll, as well as I'm going to be working on some much larger projects next week. Also, I've noticed that my main microphone, which is right here, it seems to be kind of crackling a little bit and has some interference, so I kind of have to use my computer microphone just to see if it might even just be my computer, I don't know, but I'm trying to fix this. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Ryan Thomas with Fail Tech. Please do like, dislike, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, support me on Patreon if you want. Thank you so much, Ross, for supporting me on there. And my name's been Ryan Thomas for Fail Tech again. I will see you all next week. Peace.